Random Cat Talk Thursday. And I Kansokemba Buzeko Muyombia Mark, Mugalasi Joshua Mix Farm, Nathan, Tusime Eddie, Nick Waboy, Antonio Random Things, Kawagama Enoch, Serada John Paul, Deep in Coffee, Bridget Kakai, Mulimutia. How is your Thursday? My Thursday is also okay. I'm okay. Kids abana bari mo holiday, and I find that's why we don't have jam anymore. You can imagine Tanika broadcasting already nimuku dropping abana. And normally I would start the broadcasting and you say but how are you? Today is Random Cat Talk Thursday. Let's talk about anything. Don't ask questions, just talk. Paul Sema, good morning. Saddam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Olida Murshidi pure Musomesa. Godfriend Tambala. This day, never no chimanyi bari day. Broadcast mwena bariko. Sigaranga, you are happy because you are alive. As long as you are alive, demangu. But it's not a bright morning. Abdul Nasser. Travel Life Vlog, good morning. Mr. Boo. Sir, I know this is the right time to ask, but help me and talk about Super Custom for at least 1 minute. Super Custom, what are you going to use the Super Custom for? Oh God. Because I used to love Super Custom. I used to be in love with the Super Custom. I used to want to own the Super Custom. I used to want to drive a Super Custom, but along the way, I think all that desire went away. Super Custom, they have of course we into sang griba jusamba take 5L over the 3L, but Super Custom come with bajita 1KZ engine. Now the 1KZ engine is a very, very good engine, but it's expensive to maintain. Okay, it's expensive to maintain, and also it's not a workhorse. That's why majority of the guys that have Super Customs that have made them last, KZ were more buzibunga chusanga take 3L. Now 3L engines zeziri mu chigege or chitegera. So but if you get the Super Custom that already has the 3L, then you're good to go. You just have it. Then Super Customs also have the habit of overheating. I think they overheat because they are luxury vehicles. The Super Customs are luxury vehicles. Now, when people did not, at times when people did not have options, already guys were not driving chigeges because chigeges are known to be taxis in Uganda, and there's literally very little you can do to make a chigege like luxurious. So people kept driving Super Customs even for tours and travels, but then Super Customs still gave them a lot of trouble. So it depends on what you're going to use the Super Custom for. I know it's tempting to buy a Super Custom. It's really tempting, I'm telling you. The time that I almost bought a Super Custom, and then there was this guy that had a Super Custom that had a 3L engine, which was also manual. And I went to do better, but he wanted 5 million out of me in terms, and it did not make sense for me. I was ready to give him 3 million, more 3 million plus my car, and pay Super Custom here. But I got $1 million in turn, which was a lot of money. So deal near feed out, but it was a 3L. So if you get a Super Custom that has either a 5L or a 3L engine, go ahead and buy. But KZ ejakuwa mukoko buzibu. And I'm also imagining that the fact that you're asking about the Super Custom so many times, you're also scared of it. So if you're having second thoughts, it means you already have an eye on a Super Custom that you want to buy, but you're just imagining. Majority of people that buy Super Customs actually don't know. It's not as easy to maintain. Super Custom engine is turbo charged. Engines are turbo because already the diesel cars have troubles with their injectors, which they have troubles there. But Wogata ko turbo, of course, the turbo gives it extra power. Then it's a Super Custom way. After gayo, I don't know what they call that in English, but the Super Custom ate engineer yo nene. I don't know what they call that in English, but gocho umanya nti chigege wenyu emitwalo ebi Super Custom inywa onge esatu oba esatu kitundu okitegeera. so it might also not be friendly. So if you're going to be doing over airport pickup, over special hire, super custom is not your car. Just collect money. And super custom taina chintu chekola no way empia chetakola the Valvematic one. Go and buy the Valvematic one. Get good fuel consumption, comfort, and also get value for money. Yeah, super custom esa wenu no. Bubanga super custom million abidi jana yoko sumbua. If it goes below, which I find that most people that want to buy super customs, they want to buy the ones that are 15, 16. There are cars that I used to love, by the way, but somehow the love disappeared along the way because majority of the time the reason we want to buy cars, and so at that time, because when you want something, you really find ways of making it seem like, oh, if I don't do this, the world is going to end, and all. Yeah. But good morning, my people. Sebugwao, you want it for luxury? Okay, if you want it for luxury, then you can buy. But I find that there are cars that give you better luxury right now. You can buy the Alphard. I find that the Alphard will give you better luxury, at least at not as much the maintenance as what the super custom will require. So I would definitely buy the Alphard. The Alphard gives you luxury of a switch opening, the sliding door. The Alphard gives you the luxury of having the latest technology. I find that the Alphard gives you better luxury than the super custom. Super custom, super custom. Kuja ngogena jejira mu bond. Bogena jejira mu bond. It's okay, but if you're buying outside the bond, everybody that buys a super custom, they buy them because they are passionate about them, they really love them. By the time watu kido kujejjako aba ine ensonga irogenda ku sengo no nyereza no, why are you selling the car? Bobo gisanze mbubando obwo ebbali baba agitunda kubaya chamukako ne musumbuwa nitandika okufa because bit ate bwe etandika teko wandi nalinda biko musajja omugagga ka super custom emutamye okitegeera. Anyway, random car talk Thursday. Ata even wish ni model tena buzibo yogula buguzi. Bruno, why do you want to see me? Bruno, why do you want to see me? The Alphard is better than the super custom right now. The Alphard will give you better. I'm after gaba almost gegamu, but at least with the Alphard onyo mafuta go kate to take a maintenance ya amani. Bana mafuta rachi bagased obanga likini naganyo oluguru bitana asatu manyo kwongera mu nusu 10 ngogenda nywa fulu tanka kangaleke nja ganywe oluguru njafuna wenyo batunda 15 mu 5 mu 2 zigenda nywa 5 bitana asatu izo nusu 10 ntono nnyo na yera baba bankumiyeko yaganywe wala nakangende. Ata, when can anyone get good shocks for Impreza? Where? Subarus are complicated. I've had many mechanics tell me that Subaru is opposite shock empia zifa mangu, that it's better you put Japan used shocks for the Subarus. For the Subarus. Lutu Richards, Nissan X-Trail, you buy, you will tell us. I have no problem with you people that want to buy your cars. And the reason why people want to buy Nissan X-Trails, it's because you find a Nissan X-Trail in the bond 2014, you find the Kaundo 2014, the Kaundo will be 75, the Nissan X-Trail will be 40. It's tempting, eh? Like, why I want an SUV? It's really tempting. But you buy it at 40, you'll see. Someone will buy a Kaundo at 70, and if they lose money, they sell it at 60. You'll buy a Nissan X-Trail at 40, and you'll say that it's it at 15. But again, right? If you even get someone to give you 15, because Nissan X-Trails have been known to have a lot of troubles in the end. But yeah. So anyway, Kantandike tomorrow's broadcast. Tomorrow's broadcast. Today we are talking about random things, basically about cars and about us. There is something that I thought we should talk about. But the Wish is a good thing. It's a good car you buy. I've ever had one, but Lumuna took him Masaka Christmas year 2018. ng'eridde akakoba ka alternator naye nze amazima super custom I will have it again. I loved it though it's stressing. Kati ate lwaki oyita stress? Nze one thing I decided in my life, and it takes time to learn, by the way, guys. I decided that I'm going to learn as much as possible to not have stress. I'm going to learn as much as possible to not have stress. Stress kills you young. Stress ereta ebirwadde bingi, diabetes, ereta high blood pressure, ereta cancer. You guys have not heard of people nebagamba nti ono ekyamuleetedde cancer abadde ye stressinga nnyo. Munange stress ereta ne cancer. Kakati nze I'm trying as much as possible to not have stress. Because I've ever had hypertension. It's not a pretty thing, and hypertension is mild. Now just imagine the people that get high blood pressure. Richard Agaba, you come tomorrow's broadcast. I'll answer all those questions. I know when I start answering questions, it's tempting for you to ask me everything, but tomorrow is question Friday. Tomorrow is random car talk. We just talk. Let us discuss. Find a way of bringing it that doesn't seem like it's a question. So I'm still doing intermittent fasting, but sometimes in tukanga amanyi gampedde nga I have to work nesanga nyino kulia. Intermittent fasting is for people that have a routine that is predictable. Ngachimanyi I can manage properly, but for people that don't have routine, okay. So today I just thought we should talk about it. You guys have watched American movies, right? You have watched American movies and you've seen how patriotic Americans are, right? Americans are very patriotic. They love their country, and they love everything that is American. It doesn't mean that these Americans, they don't have bad habits, they don't do bad things. They do. But I find that Americans love everything that is, of course, it's a contribution also of the government. The government doesn't simply teach people to be patriotic, it enables patriotism. It doesn't force people to be patriotic, and it enables patriotism. But I find that patriotism starts with you loving yourself, you loving your neighbor, regardless of their weaknesses. But I've realized one thing, especially the guys that are abroad, the moment the guys are abroad, the moment they come back to Uganda, they start, because you have been exposed to countries where these guys are civilized, these guys do good things, these guys are abide by the law, these guys have structures. You come to Uganda where we literally don't have structures, and then all of a sudden you start blaming everything that is bad on other people. That statement, I don't like it. That statement is spreads negativity towards us as Ugandans. Now, and it's important for you to always remember that since you have decided to have your kids in Uganda, your drone mujiraba, what your drone is as a luxury for the guy that wanted, for you guy that you wanted to buy super custom. What your drone bazita batya, obaze bayita GXL. They are drones that are luxurious. If you have your money, you can import it yourself. Nojejire Japan. Nga munda n'emito giringa ja super custom, the suspension iringa super custom, nenga it's a drone. Okitegeera, you could get it with a 2KD or 1KD engine. I find that instead of buying a super custom, you would rather buy that drone. As a drone is really very comfortable. Okitegeera. Ate nga ojja kumanya nti ne bw'oba super custom ogijja mu bondi aguze drone ye yasinga. So guys, Bana Uganda obaba abachi. That's a general statement. That's a general statement that spreads that Ugandans are not as good. Ugandans don't deserve good things because they are like this. I don't know if you guys get what I'm saying. We should stop Ugandanizing bad things. I've been to a number of countries, and I can tell you that Ugandans are nice people. Ugandans are lovely people. Yes, it might be that a Ugandan will be good with you when they are looking for something from you, but at least they are good. There are people that will be bad to you even when they want something from you, but Ugandans will be nice to you. Ugandans will smile with you. Ugandans will make you feel at home. You get? Ugandans are good people. Yes, we have our weaknesses that run back to the individual, but also there are bad. There are those things that happen to us because it's a culture that has been enabled. Which take it, there is a culture that is enabled by the situation, by the conditions that the country has. For example, there are weather situations, there are road conditions that enable late coming. The conditions of the roads, they are going to enable it coming. Kakati, you can imagine a person that had an appointment in Mbali. Right? Right now it's very hard. You remember now Karuma is closed. Is it Mbali? The people that go past Karuma, I'm thinking Arua, right? If you go past Karuma to get to your district, or to get to work, and you go past Karuma and you have a meeting there, right now it's unless you take a chopper, it's very unpredictable. Time is very unpredictable. You tell someone I'm going to be there by 10 a.m. It's possible that you'll not be there by 10 a.m. Which take it, it's very possible that you'll be there by 2 p.m. And that's enabled by the condition that is in the country. That there is one bridge, it's in bad condition, it's going to take like a number of months to be repaired. Which take it. So that's enabled. I told you about the American that was in my digital marketing class some time back. And for him, because he's American, he came here and there is a day it really rained a lot, and I knew that Ginger Road had flooded. And we had students that were coming from Ginger Road. And naturally, I would wait for them. And then this guy was really angry. Bichi, you're not serious. I paid my money. And I told him, yes, you paid your money. Tukena notari kusomesa nga yatategeera bye tusomesa. Kati ngase nga nabadde na yeka. Ani alibadde abitegeera. Okitegeera. But the goal was wait for these guys who are being delayed by the road, because kuba lyali the flooding game mazima. Ng'omuntu yakedde nenga ku Jinja Road okusala tebasala nga balina kwetoloola mu bukubo eyo. But there are people that have Ugandanized bad things. I'll give you an example. Some time back, there is a lady that called me. She wanted a tracking device. She was in Entebbe. Now, the standard price for a tracking device is 450, 350 without transport, just installation. Now, for the people that are in Kampala CBD, that we let it slide. Tugamba kale katukulete woli. Ngoli mu Kampala makati. But this lady was in Entebbe, so it meant driving fuel, paying for the express. But this lady wanted the tracker to be delivered to her for free. So I told her, you know what, we will cover the fuel for this one time. You pay for the toll, because the toll is 10k, 5k to go, 5k to come back. And this lady started, "Ne baba na Uganda mwabachi." For me, that statement annoys me. Because a person doesn't manage their business the way you want them to manage, or because the person doesn't do the things you want them to do, so then you start Ugandanizing to in a way make them feel inferior. I told this lady, you know what, don't lecture me. Don't lecture me. Because the people that bring their cars to me to install tracking devices, they pay 450,000. I've not incurred transport. I'm even letting it slide for you. I'm telling you, you give us 10,000 for the toll. Give us 10,000 for the toll. And you have started lecturing me how Ugandans are not serious. Serious. My business was running. The same thing that happened with the pastor some time back that wanted the car alarm. I find that this is a mannerism of people that have nebali nnyo n'agenda Rwanda bw'akomawo wano atandika okulaba na Uganda nga tebategeera tebali serious. Okitegeera. And apparently you want to take advantage of Ugandans because you have traveled, you have some money, so now everyone that seems to be everyone that is going to offer a service to you should bow down and do exactly what you want, otherwise they are not serious. We should stop Ugandanizing things that are not that are bad. Everything that is bad in Uganda is done somewhere else. You see the bad driving, let us treat it as individual. That's why it's very rare for me, and it's something that we all have to learn, including me. It's very rare for you to find me saying na Uganda tuvuga tutia. I will say na abantu bavuga batya, because it's a human thing. It's human to drive badly. It's human to not care about You've seen it in movies where omuntu ayimira kubitala n'ayagala adeyarenge. It's not just in Uganda. You've seen it when people don't want you to enter the road. Even in the movies happens. That's why you say aba border, because aba border generally talking about na Uganda babachi. It's not that when we talk about borders, even the guys that ride their own TVS stars, we will take them to be like that because they're riding something that does border. But me, I find that we should stop Ugandanizing bad things. This is our country, and you guys, majority of you have had kids in Uganda. They're going to grow up in Uganda. You don't want them to grow up thinking that Ugandan means bad. Ugandan means bad manners. Ugandan means non-principled. Ugandan means non-serious. Ugandan means poor business acumen. Ugandan, like most people, Ugandanize bad things. And like I've shared here before in Nabagamba, I've been taught by some of the biggest marketing brains in the country. And one thing I've realized about these guys, the biggest marketing giants in Uganda, they know that things are bad. But you know, if you don't blame the game, you find ways of playing the game. If you're over complaining about the game, you will not find the good things about the game. Like the other thing I've realized about some Ugandan businessmen, it's not like they are eating. And I find that most Ugandans are complaining about what is going on, but it was affecting. Things affect us. I told you guys, for example, my company, we were forced to start charging VAT. Forced. We don't even make the threshold. We don't make 150 million in revenue per annum. We have done it before, but we don't do it regularly. But we were forced to start charging VAT. So we have to take all our receipts through IFRIS. We were forced. But I'm not complaining about it. I'm working with it. I'm working with it, guys. I'm going to read those comments when I'm working with the condition. Katimula about the situation that is here. Oyo msajja wa primo ye musiru. Ochitegera akoze extra lane na blocking warawum ngato warawum yali badai na jalaga. Now you can't just come here and say Ugandans baba abachi. That's generalizing. Ugandans, I will tell you that I've tried as much as possible to understand what is happening in Uganda, because I realized abantu abakyasinze okuba obulungi mu Uganda, people whose careers have progressed, they know what is going on, they see the bad things that are going on, they see that our leadership is a problem. But guys, every country has its own weakness. They work within the system. There is a lady that teaches us right now. She's in tech. She's Kenyan, but she's in Uganda. But there are times that I've made comments that kind of like, you know how you make a comment that says, you know what, the government is letting us down. She looks at you, you see the pain in her eyes. It's almost like she wants to say something, but she calms herself down and she says, you know what, it could be worse. I want a tracker from you, but there is a tracker already for the seller. Is it advisable to install another one? Bwebenge moro kabachaji banja lindako osobola okulindako kubanga ekirungi ebamu tracker. But the only trouble you face is if the seller steals the car from you. You can't know that it's the seller that stole it from you. You get it? Because then the seller will say it's possible that you disconnected our tracker. Kubaye bwagitwala amanyana wagiramu tracker. So it's probably safer for you to put your own tracker, because that's your money. Ochitegera. Can a Hyundai survive in our Kampala? If it's the option you have, wherever kuwampe jitwale togana neto jigula sente zo. If you are just getting it for free, you take the car, but don't invest your money. After since najifuna mfu, so by the time I sold it, nali integrate how to maintain and enjoy it. In one major problem, and that's overheating. You want to sell your Primo 2007? Oh, nainganze ekibroka sichikuba. Sikuba chibroka muganda wange. You find a broker, they will help you sell it. Or you can advertise it here on Tuesday. People will buy it. Arthur, I stay in Djibouti. It's very hot. People are very poor. When it rains here, the country floods. It's very expensive country, but people here love the country at all costs. They made me laugh. Hi, Chris Muniko. How is Kenya? Sorry about the floods, brother. Those things happen, but sorry about that. No, look at this place has flooded also. Kiriza Ghana, but now Uganda to muzanyo mungi. The rate of unseriousness in many is at another. Tekasago. Let me tell you one thing. Ugandans are not playful as you think. Me, I've worked with Ugandans. It's the culture. It's the situation. Put a Ugandan in a serious situation and they will work. Put them, yes, it rained, paddy. Put them in a playful situation and they will play. Ugandans are just... That's why you find that if a Ugandan goes to Sweden, he will be serious like the Swedish people. If he goes to Norway, he will be serious. Chris Fitness, good morning. And JK has said, our leaders don't make it the situation any better. I see the commissioner train and feel like Uganda is stuck in the past. Man, if you're train saga na bio gerako. JK, the thing they call train makes me laugh every time I see it. We are stuck in 1960. That's because the people that are governing us are not really exposed. Most of them carry. Time management is a serious issue in my opinion. I personally get irritated by people who don't value my time. I always kept time. Name esimu ngeri mku overheating. Kanfuna ku solution one etonotono. Esimu eyagala ku overheating. Ate when it overheats, then let me just do this, guys. Sorry. Okay, that should give us a little bit of a solution. And then let me cool it with SC as well. Nozamula lwaki mvuga SC kati namumanyira SC wesanganga ina kuba cold. Very cold now. Sorry, I cannot read the comments because when this phone is starting to overheat, it dims the light, but it's going to cool down and I'll read. So guys, Jeka Agambye, people that don't value his time, I always kept time and communicated in good time when I couldn't. JK, it's not like Ugandans are not serious. It's you know, something starts as a joke and then it becomes a culture. Which again, it becomes a culture. In a way, our leaders, Ngabo Ogambe, JK, they don't make the situation better. How? For example, it's even now, it's even made to look trendy, to look nice, to come late. Like you'll invite the president or a minister to come for a function. You tell them the function starts at 2 p.m. They will come at 5 p.m. Even when they had nothing to do, they will be there pretending, oh, I had another appointment somewhere, bichi, you get it? Even when they had nothing to do, they'll be there pretending like they had an appointment somewhere, they had a meeting, even when they did not. Because some of those government officials, they claim to be having meetings. But about what? They're literally doing nothing. What's again? And because then when that person comes at 5 p.m. when the function started at 2 p.m. Of course, there is one time when we had a graduation at Platos, and former minister Honorable Seninde came late. It was understandable there was a lot of jam that day. She even dumped the car and walked to the venue, and we totally understood. And I understood her. But there are people that would come late and they will tell you, I was shopping for my daughter. I had to shop for my daughter. Like shopping, going to the supermarket is something you could not tell someone else to do. You get it? But time management is, I find that time management is something that is now embedded in our culture. It will take us like 5 years to get out of Ugandans. But also JK, time management, I've tried to, in a way, to try to understand. I've given an example. Sometimes when people come late, sometimes it's not their doing. You guys have seen when the president locks up ne basibe kubo for 2 hours. You guys have seen it. Mujukira no munam. Don't lock the road for 3 hours. You get it? For 3 hours. Find that yes, someone wanted to keep time, but yakubo bali sibi. Ngataina jadda, ngataina na bwachuka, esawa satu nawera mu kifo kimu. But now, where the issue is that Ugandans are not communicators. That's a weakness. Ugandans are not communicators. Also, I find that Ugandans tebamanyira kuteka airtime kusimu nabeerako. Ugandans, we were talking in class, and then it's something that happened with culture. It's something that happened during the war. Ugandans started buying those small portions of stuff during the war. The Ugandans cannot buy a kilo of sugar, most of them, because bwengula kilo ya sukari olutalo ne lubalukawo. It's something that used to happen there. Mujukire there is a time when there were a lot of wars. Kati ng'omuntu agula kota ya sukari asigaze sente ze mu nsawo senga olutalo lubalukawo abenga alina cash. So it's a culture that went on. Enyanya bagulayo za kwolwo, everything bagula bya kwolwo, because olutalo luyinza okubalukawo ne wesanga ate ebintu byewaguza olina bilekawo. Okitegeera. And in a way, when you understand where the culture is coming from, so even airtime, omuntu agula airtime wa 10 because ayinza okugula ow'omutwalo network ne bagisalako. Okitegeera, you remember twagula data ne basalako internet. Kati oba waguze data wo wa week eyo na internet neba nga teriiko, oba okoze loss. And still even Uganda right now is a little bit not predictable. Kati you can imagine omuntu yabadde ne airtime nakwako ekiro nagamba ngenda gula nga ntuse ku mulimu nga ku mulimu gyagenda okusanga ne bakwata jamu essaawa 3 nga mmoroka alimu ye katayina bw'avaamu genda ku mobile money gula data nayinako sente ku Airtel money. And now you remember even mobile monies are being complicated, so people are no longer keeping a lot of money on mobile money whenever they get it. And then there is this thing of reversal, when someone sends you money and they can reverse it. So now every time someone receives money, like me personally, when you send me money, there will be a pre-purchase inspection on Airtel money. The moment you send it, I send it to my bank. There will be a company that says Balozi reversing, which take it, right? I actually asked, I know someone that works in the Airtel and told me even after 24 hours someone can reverse that money. So muntu akuwa sent knows money at Gezi, and then they reverse it after 10 hours. Which take it. So the Uganda is a bit unpredictable with stuff. So there are so many things that have enabled that culture of late coming, the culture of poor communication. And I think that's why cultural studies exist. Maybe they should have cultural studies okusoma Uganda. Why Ugandans do what they do. But me, I find that I've been to other countries where people came late. Like I worked in Brazil and people came late, and it's something that seemed okay with Brazilians. It's just people that have been exposed that know how to keep time. With pre-purchase inspection, I had done pre-purchase inspections for people, and I reached a certain point and I thought it was normal for Ugandans to come late. So there is a time I did an appointment. The first person we went with to the pond was a lady, Yasomera UK, Katari, Uganda. We had an appointment of 7 a.m. The lady was there by 7 a.m. sharp, and she called me. I was surprised. In fact, when I got there, I apologized a lot, and I told her, you know what? Because normally when we tell people 7 a.m., they come at 10, and it's true. You make an appointment with someone to come at 9 a.m. for pre-purchase inspection, then they come at 2, and they don't even call you before 2 to tell you I'll be late. They call you at 2 and they say I'm here now. You get it? So it annoys, but sometimes you try to kind of understand. We stay here. Now me, when we have an appointment for 10 a.m. for pre-purchase inspection and you come at 2 p.m., your day is done. 450 gone, kaput. Toba anja. Twakoze appointment ya sawa nyano jamunana, it's not my fault. We stay here. We took an appointment ya sawa satu, please be there by 9. We stay here. Don't go be doing other businesses and then you come at 2 p.m. and you expect Arthur to bear that. Because still me, you have wasted my time. Nzenga Arthur, when I program to do something, I don't do another thing until I've finished that thing. That's how my mind works. But for you, if you expect that automatically when you don't come at 10 a.m., I will switch and do other things and wait for you to come whenever you want. It doesn't happen that way. You get it? So I find that there are things that we need to understand about us as Ugandans. Like there are cultures that are enabled guys. For example, you see these border guys. They ride recklessly because the culture is enabled by the government. If the government did a crackdown for a full year, ngabakwata baboda batayina permit, baboda batayina helmet, baboda bavuga bubi. Trust me, by the end of that year, border guys would have adjusted. If the government katabe kubo, ulidaba there is a way people would adjust. Wavuga kubo ngana nga gonna galiwe gatinga asala ebinya bwati agenda okutuuka eri nga takyamanyi ekkuba alivuga side ki. These are cultures that are enabled. But if the government did a crackdown on wrong parking, taxi drivers driving anyhow, going through traffic lights, if the government if the government did a crackdown on those things for a year, by the end of the year, the people that were being caught off guard will have adjusted. You get, you see these guys, this is a one way, by the way. The government is enabling this, police is enabling this. But you don't blame this person. Even a person that comes from the UK, if he starts riding a motorcycle in Kampala and atavuga one way, atuka nagamba na ye mfachi nensi nange kanvuge one way. Other people are doing it and the police is doing nothing about it. Ochitegera obalaba ngabe bavuga aba police bayimiridde wali. They are enabling this. Because there are cultures that have been enabled for a very long time. Nga gwenga JK nebo over Denmark with all your principles, with all your good manners, with all your timekeeping, with all your good driving. Nga you're not going to change anything about it. What you have to do is either stay in Denmark or come back to Uganda and adjust. But Ugandans are not bad people. Ugandans are not unprincipled. Me, I've seen Ugandans can be principled when they mean to. I've worked with border guys, for example, for field marketing. And those border guys keep time. You tell them, I want you to pick up my marketing person at 5 a.m. At 5 a.m. the border guy is already at the place and he's calling you. You get, and you tell the border, there are times I don't even give my marketing people instructions. I give the border guys instructions. Because those border guys, they know how important it is to do exactly what I tell them to do. I tell them, if you don't do what I tell you to do, we are not going to get customers. We are not going to cut one way. That's the police enabling it. Police I know kujane kwata abantu ba one way. Okuvuga one way kulibadenga na kwa kakadde. Ora bangedde makoba kuba fine ezama. We need to have fines like those in Uganda. Me, I welcome them. But because the government knows they have their own sons, they have their own daughters who also don't respect the law, who also drive recklessly, who also disregard the traffic lights, they can't manage to put those strong fines for those crimes. Because now man chigenda backward which ayagala wechina mukwatire bamugambe sasule mitwaro 15 zuzazina azisasule mitwaro 10 nemeka asasule mitwaro 15 echi obwo musango buveewo. You get So I find that there are some things that we want to label Ugandans nenga they are enabled by the powers that be. Ochitegera obesimu was console mala broadcast yen eba abo bunyogovo buli muno kale. It's a habit I've had even when I was living in Uganda. JK, there are other people that have that habit. But one thing you need to understand is that if, for example, a Ugandan is not employed in a place, in an environment where the principle of timekeeping is respected, they will take on the culture of not keeping time. But it's a culture of where someone actually works, where they have their business and all those things. But why also victimize our border? Because not every border guy does shit. I think we should not go for the person, but instead for the action. And right now, the best thing for us as citizens to do is actually go for the collection, the border guys. Because the only person that can go for the person is the government. It's the government that can come and say go aboard wavuze bubija ngutu kusipe, but the government doesn't do that. So the thing for us to do as citizens fenga basobola sensitizing is sensitize ababoda mukola kina ababoda bakyuko omu. If it shouldn't be a topic, it has always been, but implementation banangi to our layman it sounds like a direct tax. Choka tekasago. Let me tell you one thing you need to understand. IFRIS is mostly targeted for businesses that should be charging VAT. The trouble is, right now, even people that don't make the threshold are being forced. Even the people that don't make the threshold to charge VAT are being forced. My business was forced to start charging VAT. And my accountant said, you know what, Arthur, don't argue with URA. You do. When you get customers, charge them VAT. But even then, you cannot just charge VAT. Abantu by charging a certain amount. Now, if you're charging people a certain amount, you can't just adjust the charges. Chitegeza go again to kola loss in the beginning. Go again to kola loss. We have to actually reduce the money we make. So we have to adjust and charge VAT. Because the moment you start telling the other people to pay VAT, they will stop buying from you. They'll go to other places. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So tekasago. As a person that was forced to pay VAT, okay, to charge VAT because I don't actually pay VAT. As a person, as a business that was forced to start charging VAT, because now we have ever done through IFRIS and we did not charge VAT. And I think that's why. Because the organization we're working for, Yatukaka, 2 organizations, they forced us to charge through IFRIS. They forced us, even when we were not VAT registered. I think they were just trying to make sure that we charge VAT, but we don't charge VAT. So, because we have ever charged through IFRIS, so I think that's why we are forced. So what is happening right now is everyone is forced. And me, I'm not complaining about it. I'm doing it gladly. Because I know if I don't make the threshold, they will deregister me from VAT. Because it happens. But the trouble with Chikubo guys, why they are complaining is that no muntu alina capital $1 million bagala charging a VAT. Ostegera nenga ate jagula bamu charging a VAT. Yet sort of charging a VAT because of Central Butono, he's competing with the big guys. I don't know if you guys get it, Kasago. So me, I get their complaint, but I also get that it's not going anywhere. The government doesn't care. Ostegera, the commission train is a shame in this time and age. Oh why? Boba manyi bakoze, gwebyo gwabi manyi. I agree we have bad leadership, but honestly, you find a young energetic person talking nonsense about our country and they want to blame their failures on others. Even in America, people talk nonsense about their countries. Name America. This is not unique to Uganda. I find that na Uganda, the reason we don't want people to say bad things about whatever is going on is because the bad things actually exist. The bad things actually exist, and they are lots, and they are bad. They are really bad. You don't want people to say the bad things because they are bad and now they are going to affect us. Me, I have no problem with people saying the bad things. Like the bad things being talked about, be changed. If you have the power to change that bad thing, don't think that people are going to mask that have a big audience. We won't talk about the bad things because it's not good. The videos are seen by so many people. But let the young person out there that is talking about the roads talk about the roads. Viola Namiro, Travel Life Vlog. Arthur, I want to hire a car in Uganda for a week, but I fear those guys may steal it from me. At Kakati, you hire it from a company and you make sure they have a tracking device. And make sure that the agreement you have doesn't include theft. Of course, now that's why those people say Ogena Jivugirawa, so that they know where you're going to be driving the car from. Make sure you don't take the liability of theft. Tedi topangisa moroka kumuntu ataina mu tracking device because ajja kwagala blaming moroka yenyine ajibye. Okitegeera. Then the private sector should work harder and stronger. We can't have two weak sides. Lucky Moses, the private sector is actually putting in the work. I'm telling you, the private sector is working. Okitegeera. Arthur, let's be lovers of the nation, and by so we blame and talk about the bad in the system and society, and by so we can find the solution. But if we keep quiet, the leaders will be comfortable. Exactly. Thank you, Valerian. Ebibi to be ogere biveo. Engudo bezi bambi muzo ogere. Now the trouble I find is that the people that for example support the government, they feel that we should not be talking about the bad things. We should be comfortable. Poor time management is a byproduct of poor planning and is built from school. I don't really think it's built from school. I think it's built from the leadership. If a teacher goes to a teacher meeting, association meeting, and they have invited the Minister of Education, they expect the Minister of Education to come at 2 p.m. and the Minister of Education comes at 5 p.m. and they are tired, but they have to get up and clap. Even the teacher will want to come to class and be celebrated when he comes late. Now, if the teacher comes late and they are celebrated, the students will start thinking, oh, it's no more. Katolaba teach very wagulu. Let the ministers come in time. Minister agenda tukasa mukaga atuke kutano chitundu. Oshagera, people start respecting time. Olaba ne minister atuse mbudde. Oshagera. So me, I find that it's not in schools. It's not taught in schools. It's something that is systematic. It's bigger than school, by the way. Arthur, how crucial is the corporate image in a service provision kind of business? I have seen my friends borrow money to buy expensive cars for the sake of impressing their clients. You see, I find that image is important, but image is beyond cars. Image is beyond cars. Image is beyond you borrowing money to buy an expensive car, because how many times do you have those meetings? Omanyika kati ebintu emuntu inakutandika kubira ba mu ngeri ya marketing, and then of course cost saving. If for example you do corporate meetings, nze nali ngenze ko nenkola meeting ya sente nyingi, nagenda mu primo yange ngedugala n'okudugala kuba nali nva ku site ya Matugga. Okitegeera, nali nyambadde bibuutu byange, nagenda mu t-shirt ngeno, and we still got the business. Me, I find that corporate image in terms of what car you drive, what clothes you wear, it's important. But what is most important is the kind of service you give and how good it is. And timing. And putting systems in place that make people fall on you all the time. Every time they search for a service provider that is good enough, it should be you. You borrowing a car is also okay. You can borrow a car. You can borrow money to buy a car. But I find that over meetings, people just give an excuse to buy expensive cars, and the excuse is that will be that a corporate image they are just using it as, you know, when a Ugandan wants to buy a good car, a big car, they'll find every reason possible to make it legitimate. But I can tell you that companies like MTN don't own cars, they lease the cars. That's why they can drive good cars every year. They have a lease agreement for 1 year, 2 years, and then afterwards they take back those cars and they get new cars. So yes, as a corporate person, if I'm going to have a meeting where the person I'm going to meet, it's important for him that I come in a Prado TX 2020, I'll go and borrow at 1 million and drive it to the meeting. You get it? I don't need to go and buy it at 400 million. Just to prove to this person that, oh, you see, I also have money, I've done big business. For that meeting, I can borrow that car. Go and hire it 800k if that meeting is indeed worth that. Okusinga okugwa mabanja kati tuina kutandika kubala bintu. I think most people tebatula once with the accountant to find out, to do the math. Math is important. Balabalamu okupangisa moroka million emu nogule moroka million ebina che kisinga okola business sense. Kupangisa moroka million emu okitegeera. Good morning Ben Kako. So bro, how can you stop that bad border riding yet the road is broken to that point where the border riding is, for them, it's not about the road. Our border bavuga bubi. Our border bavuga bubi. Bote baliko, and it has to do with the border guys, not bongo. It's a mindset thing. Not for their children, but it's themselves, the leaders, who can't put the laws because they are culprits. Naye ebiseera ebisinga bikolera baana baabwe kubanga bo they are immune. Like ministers have lead vehicles, so they can drive where they want, but the kids can't. Which take it one UAE or Munasi bamukuba fine nene nnyo okusinga atali munnansi, and it has helped to keep everyone in order cause omuntu munno yennyini yakuwaayo mu mateeka. There is no such thing like doing a job where time management is not needed. Everything we do in life revolves around time. Chris Fitness, I don't know the last time you worked in Uganda, but in businesses, people have cultures. And let me give you an example. I went to the UK. I went to London. And while I was in London, I don't know if it's still the case, because it's some time ago. While I was in London, I discovered that time shops were opening at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. For them, that's their time management. For them, that's okay to open a shop at 10 a.m. Here in Uganda, nze bannange bwe nali nga edda nga nakatandika video library nga njigula 12 no matter what, 12. But then with time I started realizing, na ina video library, I started realizing that abantu abajja okupangisa film batandika sawa 7-8. So it doesn't matter whether you open at 6 or not at 6. The people, your customers will come at 2. So, and I think that's why ensezi mzatandika shift working nti kati kumacha osufuna yakalimu akalala kokola walina okugula okusaba 8 abantu zibakola ki. So when I was in the UK, I was surprised nze nagenda ye UK nga manyidde bino ebyaffe ebye Uganda ebyokuba nti business zigulawo saawa 2 saawa 1 osegera, and I would get out of my hotel room, go nagenda yo mu summer. During summer clothes are cheaper, so nagenda yo mu summer nga njagala gula ngoyi. So I'd wake up very early in the morning because my rehearsals would be in the afternoon. So I'd wake up very early in the morning and then shopping into a in hotel room. Then I go for my rehearsal. I did some a stint with the London Symphonetta. So I would wake up very early. Ningi ndo tuka maduka go nanga magule like 2 streets was tamna kunga go na magari. Then you realize at 10 a.m. they are all open. That's a culture there. What's the Chris Fitness? So, but when they say 10 a.m. they open at 10 a.m. Kanafene Kampala, like one Wendy, I can see Chiseka Market. Some shops are open, most shops are closed. Do you know why? Because the mechanics that buy spare parts, they reach their garages at 8, 9, then they get the spares that they are going to buy, and then they take a board to Chiseka Market. So if a mechanic that is going to buy spares from you reaches their garage in Machindi at 9, you opening at 7 and 8 doesn't make sense. So you open at 10. So a person that works in that particular business, nebo no korachi, togenda kumugamba ndinze nve wange sawe muso kuduka lyo nja kuba wo 2. Okitegera tajja kuba wo 2. Because gwayagala abere okusawa 2, you're not the normal customer wa buli lunaku. Okitegera, you're not the normal customer wa buli lunaku. Ma customer baba buli lunaku bajja sawa 4. Okitegera, they are used to that. That's a culture. It's a culture that has come ezebeerawo for a very long time. Okitegera, welcome, hi. But I think VAT thing should be for everyone, not for a few, so that if all charge VAT, the population will be used to paying VAT regardless of where they buy. But the law says 150 million annually. Politics determine the way how you should be governed. Johnson Lubinga, hi. How is Mbarara? You are right. Borrow a V8 for a meeting and for the project, or check up password over VITS. If you have a password, drive your password every day. And then when you really need, if you really think your image is important, drive a password and keep your windows up. But you make cool around your Vuga password. So that when it comes from meetings, that's why organizations have cars really packed out. Some big organizations, when they are going for a big meeting, they drive those cars. When it's not those big meetings, the cars stay packed. Kazibere ministries, they have vehicles for every purpose. They have vehicles that go to the field. They have vehicles that go to the UN meetings. Then they have the vehicles they go when they are going to let's say as a team. Baba ne basi, ne baba ne V8, ne baba ne bibi land cruiser bidi mgongo gwambo ebi maneuvering amakubo, ne baba ne double cabin pickups. Because there is a vehicle for every purpose. which take it high STS sounds. So Jack and Chris Fitness, me, I totally agree with you that time management should be very important. And yes, it's important, but time management is important depending on where you are. What is time management for those people? Ngabo kwa example yebo wa Chiseka. Their customers start coming 9-10 a.m. So a Chiseka market shop opening at 7 a.m. doesn't make sense. The banks open at 8:30. So it does not matter what you want to do. 8:30 is the time that they will open. Let me give you an example. It does not matter how time cautious you are. Until you want to go to the bank and spend 30 minutes there. In Uganda here, you'll go to the bank and they'll tell you the system is off. And they have to use the system. For example, if you're going to withdraw using a check, the operations manager has to approve the check. If the system is off, the operations manager cannot approve the check. So you will sit there for 1 hour waiting for the system to go on. Then you'll get out of that branch, go to another branch. The system is off nationally. So what are you going to do? You're going to kill yourself because the system is off, so you cannot keep time. Me, I find that the problem that most Ugandans have is the problem of not communicating. If you're going to be late, communicate. And that's something that for Katinze Mudaina mewafe Mukatemba. If there are times when an actor cannot be with you for the season because they are traveling, right? And because they are traveling, like for example, this season, we have 2 actors cannot be with us. Atengaba Mani, they are doing big roles. Like I'm saying, the actor, if you've heard of the story of Oedipus the king, the actor that is playing King Oedipus, Tasobora Kubao, Osegira, and then another actor, they all have big roles and they cannot be there. But the culture we have brought up in my company, is that if you're not going to be available, tell us at least a month before and we plan. And they know when you tell Arthur, you know what, director, I will not be here next season. The director is not saying, okay, let me plan. He's not saying that because you're not valuable. He's saying that because he cannot do anything about it. So if you're not available, thank you for telling me. Let me find a solution. And the solution is always there. So when these people said we are not available, we got solutions quickly. Not because they are not valuable, but because it's a culture. You tell us in time so that we don't panic at the end. You get, it's a culture. Well, the culture is there, but is it the most viable for progress? Imagine a supermarket that opens at 8 a.m. and closes at 10 p.m. and one that works 24 hours. Will the productivity returns be the same? Chris Fitness, there are times when it will be the same. The supermarket that opens 24 hours stands being robbed at 1 a.m. So what means that if you're going to have a supermarket that works 24 hours, you're going to want to work with the army, to have army guys stationed at your supermarket to deter thieves or robbers. Oshitege the Chris Fitness, katolaba culture jeraga. Olaba culture, olaba lwacha abakora mobile banking, baggalawo bank because they have a lot of money. Omuntu wa mobile banking ojja musanga ina milioni 5 6. So kati banka bwe galawo alina okubanga ya bankinze yo sente nga jeziri. Ate alina okera ku makyage ne mu banka jeyo cash. Olaba culture Chris Fitness. I was in Kabale and moved the whole town looking for breakfast at 8 and couldn't get any open restaurant. Then I compared with other global restaurants that open 24 hours. Chris Fitness, in Kabale, people cook food for people. You realize that if that person, and then in Kabale, you need to understand, Kabale, what do they do? What is the main economic activity? Kabale basoka kukamanti. Ngabasoka kamanti okujja mu kibuga. So that person has to go to these cow first and get milk, then come. And it's a culture. But guys, we need to appreciate culture. Tuja kulekera okunyiga. Uchegera. Like in that's why in Zenabaganze sijja kulima. Sagara kugatika mirimu. Nze kankole katemba wange nkole marketing wange so that I can keep the time for those activities. Era chovoda about the days that I have shows, I tell you I will not do inspection. Is enough kusikora inspection because I want to be focused on the shows. Njagala mbeerewo ntulewo nga director nga kyekiganye tukole bwetu. But if I attack at your inspection, that's why I tell you even in advance. Sakat Chris, understand the culture of the places where you go. Bakolachi as an economic activity. Hi Seth go ali London. London amaduka gagulawo sawa mmeka. Hi Todi. Seth London amaduka gagulawo sawa mmeka. Golden Bears Naguru Netball Academy Media muwulidde mujja kudda abantu business bazikopa kuba maaso. Chris Fitness, at what point will we start competing with the world if we insist on doing things the Ugandan way? We are not doing things the Ugandan way, Chris Fitness. Every country has its cultures, Chris. Every country has its cultures. let me try and probably if you guys relate. Abantu abayina ensi ezina winter ne summer. During summer, there are things that those people do that we don't do here. For example, in Uganda, people don't take breaks. The breaks we have kulia Christmas, Easter, Eid. Ne public holidays ebatukaka. But you'll find that there are countries whereby in summer, like during summer, people don't actually work. They be at the beach. 8 a.m. you find someone going to the beach on a weekday. Together. On a Monday, you find someone running in the street. Do you find that in Uganda? It's rare. Of course, now it's coming up, but it's very rare. Kati Uganda okumanyanga culture ya fedi tu atetuli tu to the extent that if someone finds you running on a Monday, say gaita genze kola. Ntina abantu abatakola. Esa weno batya n'okufuluma ennyumba zaabwe batya okumulaba nti yasiiyo waka. Okitegeera? Most of them now are 24/7, eh? I don't know when did that change. I was actually surprised. Chris, we one thing that probably that I want us to understand is being in the marketing space. I know that majority of the businesses in Uganda are not global; they are local, and being local is also okay, guys. Being local is also okay. There is a thing of you wanting to compete internationally, but you don't even have the resources to compete internationally. So the first thing we have to do is, first of all, compete locally. But most of the businesses can't even compete locally. For example, the thing that I learned recently is that with the taxation that the president is pushing, import taxes, the reason why import taxes are too high, he's doing what they call import substitution. He's trying to do away with importation. Like instead of importing furniture, make the furniture. Instead of importing a basin, make the basin. Instead of importing a car, make the car. You get it? I think competition will reach a point of being useless because we don't have communicating. Yesterday, Nambarara Umeme sent us messages saying power will be off from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. but it didn't come back. And last night, my wife's shop was broken into because of darkness. Sorry about that, Johnson. I'm really sorry about that. I'm really sorry about that. Now, Chris Fitness, some of these things, some of these things, be enabled by the system. Be enabled by the system. If you might find that Ugandans sometimes just give up. Hi, Isaac. Sometimes people give up. The system and then in a way they relax. You imagine the kind of situation that lady is going through right now. But you want that person to taina insurance yaduka because we don't have those things. They cannot sue Meme because even if he sues, but in organized countries now we would sue. We would say, you know what, Umeme, because of the darkness that happened, people broke into my shop. I need you to compensate me. Atina wangula never compensating. But one of Uganda, they'll keep you in courts. Even the judges will be part of the system. They'll be there. The judges system. Most Kampala suburb shops open at 9 a.m. mostly because basoka mu city center kusubula. That can't change. Culture is culture. Thank you, Julius. Ochira Chris Fitness kati nze nyina ango jembadde sirabye nti most shops basubula ku olwo kati abemmere Chris Fitness kan today ku bemmere abantu ba restaurant abasinga basoka mu katale kyo mbadde nkyerabidde emmere gyafumba ku olwo agigula mu katale ku olwo kitegeeza he can go to the market or she can go to the market na atuukayo. And there are districts where the market doesn't work overnight. Like here, Nakasero works overnight. So the restaurants in Kampala can go to Nakasero at 4 a.m. and buy things. But you can find that in Kabale, the market opens at 7. And that person has to go to the market, buy the foods and the materials they are going to use in cooking, then come and open the restaurant at 9 a.m. and then cook. A change will be ready by 9:30. So culture, in a way, is shaped by the situation. Oja kwesanga obutalo omuntu basobola kubeera open at 5 a.m. because demand by openings at 5 a.m. Terigo. Nakasero market can be open at 5 a.m. because there are so many hotels, restaurants that shop. So that market can work starting at 3 a.m. Talk about culture. For this census that is coming, some people still believe that a human being is not supposed to be counted. Because they don't know. Government. The government, it goes back to the people that are controlling the budgets and the systems. They are going to do a census now. What should have happened is that they should have started sensitizing people on the importance of population census 2 years ago. There should have been a budget. They should have used influencers. They should have used bloggers. But again, they should have even opened channels where they are simply telling people, there are people that saying the saga na kumbala. I work with the lady that said the saga na kumbala. She doesn't know. So now I have to take her through the orientation of knowing Rachi Bakubala. This is the systematic, be very waguru. Katate, a waguru chizibu chakuteleza because abantu abasinga abaliyo nabo tebali exposed. They have very little exposure. Abasinga obwongo bwabwe butono. Good morning, Heath Moses. How are you? So guys, let's not think that ateka nimuga amecha time keeping. In Nigeria nabo tebayina time keeping. I've been to Kenya, still they suffer the same. There are so many countries in Africa. There is a reason why Africa is still the way it is. It's a culture thing. In Africa, because we didn't have electricity. Waking up is when there's light outside. Me, I love running. But if there was a way I could run at 4 a.m., I would. But so, and there are times I cannot run at 6 a.m. Like for example, this weekend I have something to do on Saturday. So I will not be able to run in the morning because I only run at 6 a.m. and I'll have to leave home by 6 a.m. So I cannot run at 5 a.m. Because in Tiaba, bimujukita kasiwu kidechamu kubyakatayimba kwefula duka nnyo kumachanyo. Wachitegera 50 on the live but only 17 likes. Thank you for telling them, Heath Moses. Guys, like the broadcast. I've seen restaurants that work 24/7. There is one at Kawempe Kutano. I think with the way tough times are, businesses should go an extra mile and work overtime. And they do, by the way, Chris. They do. But some businesses try it in Chigana. Some businesses try it. Atengo Chigana, Chris Fitness, it's normal. Let me give you an example. Zakati ndimo marketing space. Chimanyo Ghana. Ndimo marketing space. Mujukira Coca-Cola we are a product jibaita fused tea. Mujukira fused tea. It was a tea that was in a bottle cold. You go to the shop and buy fused tea. When they were introducing the product at that time, they thought it would work. Like, oh, let's encourage Ugandans. Ugandans love tea. They love drinking tea. So I used to introduce a product, fused tea, where someone can go to the shop and buy tea. And they introduced it because it's Coca-Cola. It was easy to introduce it. But people did not really take it on because culturally, chai tunywa cha. Mostly America, they drink cold tea. Chikawa abera una nyogoga guy na munyo nzi sola kunywa kawa nyogoze, and I'm a coffee drinker. I have coffee in my car. The lady going kola ne yangama ne omanyi gonyo nyoka awo ogugura kawo water umbrella. So I work with my coffee. I'm a coffee drinker, but it's sobola kunywa coffee ya nyogoga. Era bwa nyogoga nga muyiwa nga mfumba amazamala nga nywa cha coffee. It's culture has. But we're back in the 90s, census bajiranga for almost 4 months. And right now, of course, now you have to understand that government because the chafuna buyambi. And I'm praying obuyambi bonaba butwari. Government should not be surviving on aid. Countries we can collect tax here. We just have to find a better way of collecting taxes. Again, businesses nyingi balekerawo no gaba tax holidays. Balekerawo. I have 2 businesses out let's in one, okay, indako. A person requests for change without saying hey, and in the other people are well behaved. I understood that that's their culture. Businesses has to go on. Sikutegede STA sounds. Sikutegede STA. Arthur, I might be off topic today. Nainina chinumba paka kati emisoro minji Arthur. When the president met leaders to listen to their problems, he actually didn't. He wasn't going to solve anything. Guys, nze nakola ko video ya Ice-T. Nakola ko video ya ya Ifris ku TikTok abantu ne bambukira bichi. But guys, by the time a tax is introduced, the president accepted it, the ministers accepted it, parliament yekonamu, and the parliament is controlled by the president right now. If the president says it, the president has more than, I think, over 70% of, he controls more than 70% of the parliament, because the member of parliament abasinga ba NRM. So you don't expect something that the president has accepted to go nichigana kuita. Either more taxes are coming, but the one thing is the athanga changes. I'm telling you this. I said, do abantu bensingo respecting amu marketing mu Uganda, and the one thing I've learned from them is that it's bad, but so you either get out of this country and don't come back, or you stay here and play by the game and find a way of maybe beating the system and going through it. I will find a way of surviving. Iranze nabagamba nzo lunaku lwensalawo nengamba Uganda eganye sijja kudda bajja kunziika neeyo. Okisegeera? Absolutely said the tax holidays are only given to Chinese. Exactly, because gwe muna Uganda okuwa tax holiday bajja kwagala mu enguzi gy'otayina omuchina yaayina enguzi. Okitegeera? But Arthur, all people that do car hiring are unfaithful and too many brokers. No, gye bali abali faithful. Travel Life Vlog, you text me. Text me, I can get you someone. Simumanyi personally, but I know that I've recommended people that hired cars from that person at enough at good rates. Simumanyi personally, I know him through another person. Era bono message ngenda kuwe namba y'omuntu omulala ajjo mukuwa. Ntegeera. But I know the people that I've sent there, tebafunye y'obuzibu, tebababyeko mmotoka, tebabakoze eki. But one thing you need to know when you go to hire someone's car, bw'otomera olina okukola. Totomeza mmotoka ya muntu n'otagikozesa. So bobanga chosinga okutya nti bwe natomeze mmotoka ate bajja kunsasuza to hiring mmotoka. Bw'onoogenda n'okuba ekinja n'oyonoona karanks, you have to fix the car. Those are expenses. Omuntu bw'akwayaringa emmotoka aba akwayarinze emmotoka ogenda ogikozesa ogikomyewo, takuwadde mbugenda okozesa oyonoone okomyewo. Don't also have those expectations like the lady that wanted me to give her a tracker and take him transport nsasule buli kimu nga ate ali wala. Era guys that want to buy trackers from me, from now on, bw'oba oli outside the Kampala CBD, ogenda kuwanga transport. Okitegeera? Because I find that Ugandans tulina n'ekyo ekintu kye tufunyeemu ekibiye nti gw'olwokuba omuntu omuwa ssente oyagala ate omunyigirize. That's the thing, to the extent that gw'olwokuba ompa ssente oyagala, you want to even lecture me how to manage my business. Kyekyo ekintu kye mutandika okugamba oba bannayuganda baabaki, naye ng'ate bw'ogenda mu business etali ya munnayuganda, you respect what he tells you. Okitegeera? Business ey'omuzungu bw'akugamba you'll give us transport omumuwa, naye munnayuganda muno bw'akusaba transport olwo tamanyi business. Okitegeera? Naye Arthur, Museveni yasoma ki? He's in the middle of everything. Kati ministries and departments zaaki. Munange nze byosagala bikola gwe kyemmanya nti every government has its policy, has a way they run. This government runs around the president. Ekyo mberenga mukimanyi. Okitegeera? So ekyo mberenga mukimanyi, that's how this government runs. You stay here and work with it, or you leave. Ontegedde kye nkugambye Valerian. You stay here and work with the system, or you decide that I cannot manage the system and you leave. Ye system eriwo, emisolo mugira bagigenda kweyongera. You either leave, ze nabagamba nze olunaku lwendigamba nti kati Uganda entamye. Entamye bwene entama bwenti ngenda kutunda buli kange enfulume, email ongikyuse, ngene nfuke makanika ebungereza obawa. Bantu ebungereza kati batugobye ne Canada nalabye bagobayo. Oba ngenda Bufaransa, oba ngenda Germany bambole, ngende bambole ngandi eyo. Okitegeera? Saith Abagambye, Arthur got me a good guy. I hired the car and the driver for 3 days. Amina. Thank you, Saith. Ate sali ako kasente ako ndoza ntandika bakuba ekibuloka ky'emmotoka ennungi abadriver abalungi. Thank you, Arthur. Because what you do is not for everyone, man. Amina Pande. The first batch of national IDs will be expiring come November. That means whoever wishes to acquire any national ID, that will be the time to move and apply for citizenship elsewhere. Osigalo li national, kati nze nkyalina passport eri valid. I will go and apply for a national ID. Renewal. Okitegeera? I'm Ugandan. Gwe kasito Sarah want you're going to be Ugandan. Abaana abo bagenda kubeera Uganda. Owulira? Gwe kasito Sarah want oli Ugandan. Abaana abo bagenda kulira Uganda. Obulamu bwogenda bukolera Uganda. You need to understand how things are moving and stay. I'm happy we've started paying taxes. We shall learn to hold the government accountable. Kati abantu abasinga babadde actually say Nobody fed all sasuro musoro mafuta musukali taxes. But now we're going to be paying the direct taxes. Joli yako nti bwe bogende wa Arthur okola pre-purchase inspection. Unakubanti kati Arthur sola kucharginga VAT man individual. But I pay income tax off of the pre-purchase inspection you guys give me. I pay income tax at the end of the year. But if you work with Arthur's company, for example, mulimu 18%. Irakati this season abantu bagenda babashoza fe tugenda sasura VAT naye from our money. Tetugenda bacharginga but from our money. But next time tugenda kuzongera mweza VAT. Abadde agula ticket yo omuntu agenda jigula gumu 2. Oba gumuru kumuru 8. Ka VAT kagendeo. I have 2 business outlets. Oh, but in one, a person requests for change without even saying hey. And in the other outlet, people are well behaved. I understood different people with different culture. Oh, okusaba obusabi change. Jamu duka ali ngayagala change. Nata kubuza na kumpa ku change. Hey guys, let me tell you, the first time I traveled nagenda Norway. Nze nali namanyira omuntu omukulu ojja n'omubuuza biwanvu nnyo wasizota no mama gundi. I went to this country Norway and kids as young as 4 years were saying hi to their parents. It was a surprise for me, but that's culture. Hi. Tagama na hi kubanga hi seems more polite. Nengo mwana ajja nava mu kisenge kino ayita ku mama hi. Neye yongerayo. Ne mama nadamu hi. It's culture. Kati abantu abamwe nze the first time when nasoko genda mu garage nganda abasajja bakulu myaka 4 nga bevuma bewe mula openly nga bewe mula n'abaana abato naye nga nze nakula abantu abakulumba w'ekitiibwa. So it's also culture. Hi means how are you, but gosobola okugenda omuntu omukulu nga how are you okitegeere. Right now my kids when they get in the car ngenzo bano nakumacha they say good evening daddy, in the morning good morning daddy, because that's our culture. We are too respectful. Neighbor abantu hi okitegeera. Of course there are times that my kids say hi daddy, but that's nganamulabi ku machane mu dropping and enkomo like in an hour ka good morning kaba kacha stickinze okitegeera. But anyway guys kangene kole ku mirimu gy'abakama bange, but let's Ugandanize good things. Kijja kutuyambako ne patriotism. But nasigala ebintu byonna abantu ba minister ba politician baje ne bagamba bana Uganda tebali serious bakola biti. How you expect a Ugandan to be patriotic ng'omulaze nti bana Uganda banne tebalina magezi tebali serious tebamanyi kye baagala? You expect him to be patriotic? There is no way that person is going to be patriotic ng'already omaze omulaga nti he is worth nothing. America bananga America, whatever films of America, the Ugandan flag, the American flag is everywhere in the movie. There is I was watching Superman cartoon. And in the Superman movie, Superman saved the day, and out of the blue they showed the American flag. American flag yachi. People are too proud to be there. Shooting a cafe. When you see the cafe, we have a Ugandan flag on the wall. But it's the art director that told me, man, Mr. Arthur, to take a Ugandan flag, we have to be patriotic. Which Ugandan flag. So everything that we shoot, the Ugandan flag is there to show that we are Ugandan. But in a way, we need to be felt. We need someone to make us feel like, okay, you know what, this is good. It's good for you. Which Ugandans, we are known for being respectful and polite. That's how we were raised. But there are cultures also in Uganda that are not. You've given us a nice one this morning and awakened our souls to the usually besides uselessness. That's one thing I know. And which take it very well. I've been treated badly by Ugandans, but also been treated badly by other people. Which take it. So it's not Uganda, Nigeria, Kenya. But other those kids have ill manners. That's why they are having problems these days. Naye enowe sinalaba yo nnyo bizibu kale enowe sinawulira nnyo bizibu ebyo okitegeera ate nga jjukira enowe balina amakomero obanga ali mu maka okitegeera nti bakusiba n'obeera ng'olina ennyumba yo weefumbira n'okwefumbira naye ng'oli mu kkomera okitegeera. Yeah, but of course there are aspects of our culture that we should not appreciate, like the hypocrisy. Nze mbagambye mu family yaffe nalaba omuntu omukulu nga yeegaana ekintu kye yayogera nga yeegaana lwakuba oli gwatayagala ategere nti yakyogera ajja muyisa bubyale memuwaayo kasente omuntu omukulu. So the hypocrisy is one thing that we should not appreciate in our culture. Me, I'm not a hypocrite. I will tell it to your face. Nze banzaalukukako, actually nkyali muzaalukuke. nina anti wange yanga toddamu nakwogera nange ongamba otya twamugambako bibi bye yakola naga because Arthur go wakulira bana abaana okuŋŋamba toddamu nakwogera nange nemugamba kale because mbadde mbonaabona kyekimu ngaera nkuyita kyenkuyita kati oŋŋambe siddamu kikuyita era ngenda sigala mbonaabona kyekimu era neekolerera naye nga ekyanzaalukusa kugamba nti owaayi naye ekindi ebintu byokola abaana nga si birungi n'abaana ne bajja ne bagamba ebintu byotukola n'abantu abakulu ne bajja ne bamugamba ebintu byokola si birungi naga ne katono ndoza yeringiriido ono okitegeera the family structures has been broken even in Uganda. There is nothing, you guys, abantu abagenda mu family gatherings abasinga bagenda lwakafansonyi. And let me tell you, ekintu kyemutanaba kustudying about the families in Uganda here naddala mu Buganda, because I'm in Uganda so I know the Buganda things. Abantu abasinga abagenda mu bintu bya family bagendayo because bamanya ayinza okufuna ekizibu nga yeetaaga obuyambi. That's the only reason. People are even blackmailing people bw'otaziikireko bantu gwanira n'akuziikirako. You get, people don't do it out of the goodness of their heart. So the family structures globally are broken. It's just that in Africa tukyalina ensonyi. Okitegeera, I wouldn't advise anyone to raise kids in Europe. Yeah. You can, I think in Europe abana balina nene wana abana balina rights. Omwana agenda bwagenda ku police n'akulopa bakusiba. Okitegeera. Even here safe, the family structures are broken. It's just that one tubikirirako. Naddala mu Buganda tulinamu ensonyi ezo tubika ekintu kiba kigenda bubi naye ne tukibikirira. So that the world doesn't know that, oh, a family yabo simanya biki. You'll find someone abantu batya n'okwogera ku bintu. The day you'll mind about family is the day you'll find the reason why the leadership is broken to this point. Guys, family is the mother of everything. Exactly. It's the mother of everything. Family is broken. That's why the system is. Because abantu tebakyafa ku family zaabwe n'ensi baganyo gifaako. Omuntu atafa, for example, I'll tell you one thing. If you don't care whether your family members are doing well or not, if you don't care if your family members are doing well or not, you're not going to care about the country. Tojja kufaayo nti atojagambe kuba teriyamba nze nzekka sijja ddifaako. You get it? Because ne mu family yo tofaayo nti banno bali bulungi. But not how to empower ourselves. Nti Arthur osituse sikayo ne batobo sikayo ko bakazi nibo bayambeko. Toba sikanti bajje babeere nawe bakolere ggwe. I think that normally that's what people want to do. Muyambire jali. Mukitegeera muyambire jali. And normally people think helping someone is giving them money. No. Tomuwa sente. Do your part. Olaba nga abantu be donating. Me, I found that right now in Uganda, people have taken the donation thing too much. Nti omuntu alema okuyamba family n'agenda yambe bakate yamba somewhere else. Nenga ne mu family mulimu bakate yamba. Kyokka n'akwata million B n'azigabira Sanyu Babies Home. Nenga n'ewaabwe mu family ayina baganda babali obi abatasobola kufeedinga abantu, atasobola kukola ki, kyokka n'agenda yamba abebbali. It starts from here. Remember the viral videos of the Ugandan guy who was confronted by the daughters for having a side chick? To me, that's poor upbringing. I blame the guy. You guys, I blame that man. Mulaba omusajja oyo engeri gye yali atudde. Omusajja oyo, he had accepted being treated that way for a very long time. So that, to the extent that at that time, bagenda omuyisa we batonga, for them it's normal. He has accepted it. Okitegeera? As a man, you should not allow to be disrespected to that extent. That's why our fathers, you know, musajja gwendebe wano emotoka gye muli atunula bubi. But I'm thinking atunula bubi kukanga. Even the fathers can smile, but I think the reason why fathers don't smile, kukanga guy bwati bwatu. But I think atunula bwato mama w'abaana amutie n'abaana abamutie. Bwe abamutunulira batakanga oyo mumanyira oyo. Okitegeera? But they can laugh. And I think there is, when people don't love, it doesn't mean that they are unhappy. They are also happy, but bwaseka bajja kumumanyira, bwajokinga nabo bajja kumumanyira, batata beddanduza ensonga laki bajja nganga agenda mu kisinge tagala kumumanyira. Okitegeera? Actually, I also find time and talk to your relatives. Many are breaking because they are dying of loneliness. Just know abantu bali depressed to the neck. You guys, let me tell you one thing I found out about my family that hurt me during the lockdown. This is painful, but let me share it. Because abamu kumwe muina sente, nenga oba extended family temujifudde ko bufite kale oba sijaga nte mufa nenga nga Valerian bwagambi talk to your family members. Nti during the lockdown to in a family, extended family yange. During the lockdown, these people used to go to dig at a rich man's farm to get food. Ngataba wa sente. Ngabagenda ne balima n'abawalumonde. Man, that's painful. Bachingamba ne mpulira bubi. Nawulira bubi. Kale naffe tetwali bulungi mu lockdown. But I think people have tried to seek for help and then they have been treated with disrespect. That same family, omukyala akulira family eyo, omukyala nga mulugamba mama, I think she has been treated badly in the past to the extent that atya n'okusaba obuyambi. Yagenda n'agamba ko muganda we at the time bali omwana wabwe yayita nasobola genda nga tebanafuna sente mwana agenda back to school and they did not have money, so she calls her sister and she tells the sister, you know what, you lend me some money so that my son goes to school, I will pay back. And you know what, the sister has the money. The sister told her, you know, you send your son to me as to work for me first, then I'll give you the money. Telling that to a person whose kid has missed like 2 weeks of school, that let your son come and work for me first, then I give you the money. So I think that person stopped asking for help totally. So during the lockdown when they were going through tough times, instead of asking for, because I did not have a lot, but I could have given them something if I had known that, you know what, because me I used to think, but the lockdown treated people so badly to the extent that a full family, they will go as a family and dig to get food, not money, to get food to feed their family. It was painful. I think this is the first time I'm sharing it. But they would go to dig at a rich man's farm to get food during the lockdown. And even after getting the food, they would not afford to eat breakfast, lunch, supper. Ngabalia chimu. Ngabalia chimu. Neye mmere gye bafunye. Ndoza we misana nga bali akufene, ne bali akumiyembe. Kati mmere nga bagirya lumu ali oluggulu saawa nga 2 emu. So yes, what Valerian has said is natinze nayogera nga nabo ku ssimu. Nga tebakulaga. I think ndoza abantu basebye help, ne bayisibwa bubi, ne bayisibwamu amaaso ne babikowa ne bagamba katuboneebone ebyaffe. Okitegeera. Anyway guys, kambasibule. Don't Ugandanize everything that is bad. Ugandans are also good people, but also, like, I think we should take away this thing also, Valerian Chagambe, check on your family members, extended family or not. Mukubireko just mubuuzako. I think people no longer call to say hi because literally every call you get is to ask you for money. Kati nawe ogamba kati mbakubire bwe nabakubira nga bansaba sente. Okitegeera. But check on your family. Check on your family. Mwe, I still feel the pain. Eyokuba nti a family member. During the lockdown, food was cheap. But to the extent that they cannot buy food, they have to go and dig at someone's farm. At family jenjo gerako. Your family tijagamenti bali bubi. They have land, they have houses. Neba atukandoza nga nabapangisa tebaba wasente. Kati akaseera ako, the people that were still getting some salary are the people that should have helped. But ojja kusanga mu family yaffe twalinamu abantu abali bafuna omusaala bebalinga bakola mu government nga bakyafuna omusaala. Naye nga ate abantu abafuna omusaala ndooza bayisiza bubi abantu to the extent that bakyabakubira bagamba nyambaako. Let me tell you another experience probably that will probably change how you look at family. Family is broken already. Family is broken, safe. Ne wano. In my family, tulinamu omuntu omu yalinamu ku ssente, alina ssente okusinga ku balala. Tulinamu n'omulala, service provider atimba ku mikolo. This person bw'aba alina emikolo tahayaringa muntu ono atimba. Kati no omuntu ono atimba sister we talina mutawaana. Baba ligambye nti omuntu oyo simuhayaringa kuba alina empisa, talina mpisa mbi. Naye tamuhayaringa even at cheaper rates. N'ahayaringa ab'ebbeeyi. Wabula ate ab'ebbeeyi we bajja nabo babamanyi, like friends, family friends. Ate ono gw'atahayarinze nga bali be bakola tebabimanyi ng'ono yalina obbibakolera. There are painful experiences in families, safe, that for me, I already know the family is a broken unit in majority of places. There are families that are still close, but there are families that have been broken for decades. Nenga people have kept quiet. Like for example, this person go gigs okutimba ate namana atimbira pe bawadde at expensive rates. Yali yakisikire myako wemeka. It's just that recent nzenga tebananza alukukawe. That's when I knew. Nembaga you people, how do you keep quiet about things like this? Then I made sure that we called for a meeting and all these things are said. But because these things were said, olina ganze ata toddamu nakwogera nange. Toddamu nemugamba kale. Ate lulimbadde njogera nawe nga nfuna ki. But you realize that some families have already broken. Zibadde broken for decades. Their families have been broken for decades. Maybe that's a topic. Family is a topic for another day. Guys would come here and share stories. If we decide to talk about family, tujja byogerako next week. But if people share their experiences, I cannot say that family has treated me badly. Family has not really treated me badly. But when I learned that people were there nga basirikidde ebibakolebwako family members simply because ate bwe tunayogera olwo tutifuna ekizibu, that's why we need to work hard obere ng'oli self-reliant. Nti tutofuna kizibu nga kya mitwalo 5 ate ng'olina kukubira omugagga mu family akuweeyo 2 azogerereko ebintu bingi okitegeera. And that's why people, you need to have kids that you can afford, because ebiseera ebisinga abantu betaaga obuyambi because bazaala abaana bangi be batasobola. Kane wesanga nti bozaala abaana bangi toyina kyakola okujjako okwegula abagagga. Nze bato bange nabaga muzaala abaana be musobola saagala kunnyigira nga sikodde buyambi kuba olumu njagana nga nganye buganyi saagala atonyigire kati zaala abaana 2 3 b'osobola okitegeera. Anyway, kambasibule bantu bange, the topic of family should be discussed on a day of its own. It's also very, very important kubanga bwe tutategeera these things happen tujja kulowooza nti wakati one of the things that we value as Ugandans is family. But some families are broken. Some families are broken. Abantu ababeera mu family naye nga beetuga okitegeera nga beetuga n'okwetuga muntu n'afa ne baganda yafudde kinga muneeya muwo butwa amujjewo ng'ayitiridde Muyombya Mark Mugalasi Joshua Mixed Farm Nathan Tusime Eddie Nick Wabuyi Antonio Random Things Kawagama Enoch Deep in Coffee Serwada John Paul Bridget Kakai Musema Saddam Godfrey Tambala Kutka 34 Matembe Abdul Nasser Travel Live Vlog Mr. Boo JK of course SPK Driving School Micho Selector Dogmeister Robert Sechide Lutu Richard Sebugwao Medi Valerian Serunkuma Male Bruno Godfrey Tambala Lucky Mose yes Simamaze, you know, Chris Muniko, even the guys that are watching in Kamoli, I don't take it for granted. Lubura Chris Fitness, Motumba Pade, yes Tekasago, Viola Namiro, Ben Kako, Chalisima Rogers, Wells Chrome, Obede Dinyo Lisomotia, Omniwa Ndiamba, STS Sounds Entertainment, Oba Enterprises, I think Enterprises, Omeja Moses, Saith Kagaba, Todi Ronald, Golden Bears, Naguru Netball Academy Media, Saith Kagaba, Johnson Lubinga, Katamba Isaac Katende, Heath Moses, Mary, Muloza Sibamaze bantu bangi. Thank you for being namwe abali mukamoli. Thank you very much. Heath Moses namwe abasharinga Lamtran namwe abasharinga broadcast abagamba abantu baje subscribing. Thank you very much. Abampa emirimu ya pre-purchase inspection. Thank you very much. That's how I keep the lights on for this broadcast. Which tegera kansubirenti yo 1 hour and 33 minutes has not been wasted. Omni Wandiambi, Derek Lule, Monrid. Most families are mad. Everyone is on their cells. I was helped by a stranger to study, yet my own uncles and aunties were damn rich, but no one cares. Exactly, that family is broken. We keep family at a distance to keep peace. Kariwuli is safe. Family should not be kept at a distance. May I find that's not family actually. That's not family. Nzenga athabwendo woza, nze chenalindo woza kali. Because nze chenalindo woza, when nalien no we kali. because when I was in Norway, I lived at someone's place, at a family house. Hi. I was at a family place, and family would come together every weekend. And they would be happy. Yes, babanga no bob kubagano, neba yomba, neba korachi, ochitegere, neingo balaba, they come and solve those things as a family. Ochitegere. Na ye, I don't know why I should be keeping distance with family to keep peace. But I've learned the hard way, by the way. I've learned the hard way. Nti abantu back to come family gatherings and immediate bachajiria. Abira wa yagale mere bajibege nga alaba ngevudde mu so pese picha abala bonna nagibaje mu lwachi ati okumuwa obutwa. Katinzezo gathering mbangenda ko zaaki. Ushitegira. Actually, when we were having meetings as my family, nabagamba by the guys when bamwe mwamanyira kweyisa bwemuti. Nze kati sira basonga lwaki mukola Christmas get togethers. We mujja ku get together nga buli omu agenda tandika kwogera ku munne bwofulume deal ne batandika okwogerako. If your family member has something you don't like, tell them. Kino kyokola si kirungi. That's how it should be. That's family. That's what we call family. Nze ne mama bani bwe munyiza akingamba ne tumalinda ku bidding ati twogera ne bwe tumale tukomone tukitereeza. That's family. That's what family is supposed to be. Ne kati gwe okola ebibi nga ate toyagala bagambeko. Okitegeera. That's not family. Okitegeera. Kale guys, I think Arthur, you hate SUVs. I watched last week's broadcast. I don't hate SUVs. I just don't find the use of driving an SUV. Nzenga Arthur. Nze mvuga akamotoka kange katono buli wa mungenda sina we kagana kuyita. Okitegeera line jinja lyako na wansa lyako na ku suspension plate. Okitegeera nenga lyali lyamaanyi, but it didn't do anything. Okitegeera. Of course the SUV would stomach that better. But this one also stomached it. And at less fuel consumption, at less maintenance costs. I find that most Ugandan young people today take SUVs. But of course now I know. Networking ambi mbasibule banange mbere bulungi. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is question Friday. Let's answer all the questions. Joshua, oyino kubeera wokeere nnyo ebibuzo naawe oddemu. Okitegeera tulina biddamu fenna. Anyway guys, I wish you a very lovely day. Kwizera Victor Gwegwe mbadde soogeddeko ne Mourad mbadde soogeddeeko. I wish you a very lovely day, guys. May God bless you. See you tomorrow.